Hey, what's going on everyone, and welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Ice, and now's the time we start farming gold. I'd like to start using this format with spreadsheets and less detailed pull guides to get content out faster and actually enjoy it more. Hopefully my viewers, subscribers enjoy this format. Please let me know if it is enjoyable. Today we're revisiting a farm located in Blades Edge Mountain, specifically Death's Door Farm. We're farming marks of Sargeras, Fel Armaments, scrolls of all types, which are selling extremely well for whatever reason. Blues, greens, nightmare vines if you're an herbalist, netherweave cloth drops in abundance here, and hopefully some big random pattern drops. I have dropped a pattern which I sold for 500 gold, or 450, which was a major mage blood potion pattern. Now, the reason I started this farm was because I want to level my DK during pre-patch, get him to level 70, and have him hit Exalted with Aldor for the rewards, which will make leveling much easier. Of course, that's extremely sweaty, and you don't need to do that. You can sell the marks of Sargeras and the Fel Armaments for a substantial profit. Not as good as I used to do it for during phase 1, but I expect those prices to rise as more players come back to the game. And of course, many people are still not exalted with Aldor, and I'm sure they'll want to get in on those rewards, being that the price is so cheap right now. I do expect it to go up, and you can see that comparison here on these two spreadsheets, which we're going to dive into detail. The other reasons I really like this farm, and it's a standout for me and this channel, is I like to identify spots that, number one, don't take tons of skill. Anybody can do these pulls if you have a mage. The second thing is you don't need tons of gear, and it also is not very contested. I made a video on this, which I'll link below, where it details all the pulls, etc. Nobody went and did this farm, which very much surprised me because I was doing 400 on average gold per hour. Marks of Sargeras were then selling for about a gold per, and they're now selling for about 15 to 20 silver per in bulk. Obviously a major difference, but there's been a market shift where these scrolls of agility, scrolls of strength are selling for 5 to 12 gold per, which makes up for the loss in profit you were seeing on the marks of Sargeras as well as the Fel Armaments. Now, moving on, I'd like to discuss some of these monsters and outline the pull area, because most times we don't do this in our guides as YouTubers. So the technicians do a drain life. It's about 15-yard cast. Just blink away. As long as you have blink up off cooldown and you're staying pretty decent range, you frost nova the pull immediately out here, and then you're going to blink over here. You'll get 1 or 2 blizzard off, of course blink off cooldown again, and you will never have trouble with their drain life. It does hit extremely hard, and they'll all cast it as soon as they get into range. So just be aware of that. These oversmiths are going to do an AoE poison thing, which you saw in a lot of my pulls. It does absolutely no damage. These guys are a joke. They don't do anything. That pull is very easy. You can pull it from right to left, or you can go left to right. I've found going up this way behind this back crater all the way around and then wrapping here. For whatever reason, there's no reset, and the way BC works in certain areas, there's trigger spots, etc., etc. I like to left and right. Now, talking about these Death's Mites guys, as you can see, I had to kill a few of them. They hit extremely hard. So I don't ever try and man up against them, if that makes sense. I always am going to play as safe as possible, use my cooldowns off cooldown against these guys. We'll do an example pull here. Always running around, keeping them at max distance, but keeping aggro. As you can see, I actually killed some of these guys, unfortunately. But I'd normally block right here, and even that is pretty scuffed. Just gonna go ahead and do this. Watch how hard these guys hit, though. 268, and they hit extremely fast. I don't have that trinket up, whoops. You get my point though. These guys hit extremely hard, so do not stay in the melee range and just cut them out, right? Blink, Blizzard, etc. These guys have a really good drop rate for marks of Sargeras, Fel Armaments. They drop tons of greens, and you can find them in all types of forge camps. If this spot is highly populated, I would just go to another spot or farm something else. Now, in closing thoughts, I do want to redo this pull so everybody can see. It's probably the most difficult one in the area to properly execute every single time, just because of this pat. You really want to wait until they're in the middle, so you're not overextending for the pull, which I'm going to demonstrate. They'll stop right here actually, and their leash is rather small when they're on this side. If they're on the other side in that big open area, they can leash forever. They actually won't stop trying to kill you, so be advised of that. Now also, if you have lower gear, I might suggest a talent spec here, which will give you more armor and a little bit more damage reduction, which is making sure you get frost warding. Gives you 30% more armor from your ice armor, which you don't see me using in these videos, but if you have lower gear, I would suggest it. I also take arcane fortitude, and that helps a lot, which I can show by having one of these guys melee me in the face if you'd like. Now, the pull, again, we'll just go up and around. I also don't like when the mobs get slowed. Personally, I find it scuffs pulls, but if you need to do it, then do it. Just ice block here. Hopefully these guys are going to aggro. We got plenty of time, 5 seconds. 2, 1. Re-armor shield, Nova. Pretty scuffed, but doesn't matter. Pop icy veins, pop everything. Start going to town. We have all our cooldowns, so I'm not worried about anything at all here. Always take a few steps. You have 3 seconds of leeway while Blizzard's still affecting them. We have blink up, so again, not worried. Right, move a few steps. And you can see how easy this is, right? These are not elites, even if some of them do run at you. Pop your elemental. Here's the slime spray. We interrupt that. We don't like him casting. And that's the pull. That's how easy that is. As long as you have ice shield, ice barrier, excuse me, you're gonna be fine on this. I like the elemental. I've seen people not go all the way down to get this ice elemental. They scrap all these points and they'll get more arcane crit. They'll also go into more intellect. Again, if you have less gear, this might be good for you. Play around with it. I personally like the elemental. It's 3-minute cooldown. It does a ton of damage. I would advise you to not have him auto attack because he will break frost novas, and if you have one of these death's might wailing on you, you cannot sit there while he just auto attacks you and blizzard on people. So you're probably gonna have to pop some potions or potentially die if you don't have cold snap and these other things. On these pulls, these guys can melee you for an entire duration of blizzard and a full ice barrier. So if you have a fresh ice barrier, they will not break it through an entire blizzard. So by that time you'll have Frost Nova back up again, or I'm sure some other cooldowns, and you'll be just fine. So don't run away from these guys. If one breaks a resist or anything like that, pop cooldown if you want, but don't be too afraid. These guys run the hell away. They will kill you. They hit very hard and they want to kill you. That's all for today. Thank you everyone that watched to this point, and as always, please leave your thoughts on this new video style below. Spoiler, herbalism, mining, and cooking supplies will most definitely make us rich in the coming months. I'll be dropping videos on this soon, so stick around and I'll see you next time.